guys, and welcome back. This video is part of a very special series called ABA Terms Defined. Today we have a special guest who's going to be defining some ABA terms for us. Oftentimes as practitioners, we forget what these terms are. As parents, your therapist might be using them, you may not understand them, or maybe you're studying to become a BCBA or an RBT. If so, we're here to help. My name is Jessica. Likewise, I'm the CEO of Hope Education Services. I have an incredible guest with me. He has over 40 years of experience in the field of autism. He has a PhD in special education. He is a BCBAD, a doctor of behavior analysis, and he also has 15 books published. So he's going to answer today for us, what is a discriminating stimulus, or SD? Thank you so much, Keith Storey, for being on here today and for shedding light on this definition or defining this for my audience.
It's good to be with you again, Jessica. I appreciate the opportunity. So discriminative stimulus is often referred to as an SD. But what it basically is there's a cue in the environment that you want the child or the learner to respond to. And I like to use the example of crossing the street. So there are relevant discriminative stimuli that you need to understand and respond to crossing the street. Could be a stop sign, could be a green walk sign, could be cars coming. So those are things that you want the person to respond to. It's not that you're telling them what to do. So, if I say, is it safe to cross the street, Keith? Then Keith may say yes or no, but Keith isn't responding to the relevant SDs. So the whole purpose of instruction becomes that you want the learner to respond to the relevant SD in the environment. It's not that you're getting them to respond to what you're telling them to do. This took me about 20 years to figure out. And once I figured it out, then my instruction became much better, because all of the instruction is to get the learner to recognize and respond appropriately to the SD in the environment. So in crossing the street, you need to teach the learner that when the green light walk sign is on, then it's safe to cross the street. So now that I understand that, my instruction becomes more, is the walk light red? Is the walk light green? What does the walk light mean when it's green? What does the walk light mean when it's red? You can do video modeling sorts of things to set it up ahead of time. But your whole instruction becomes getting the learner to respond to the relevant SD in the situation. And then once they're doing that, they've learned the skill.
Yeah, that's so important. I know when I first started in the field of ABA, I always thought an SD was just the instruction that you gave. But really, it's what comes before behavior or triggers a behavior to occur and makes a child respond in a certain way or person respond in a certain way. So
Right.
That's really, really good differentiation and an important one for us to know, because if we don't truly understand what an SD is, we may be writing not incorrect SDs, but bad SDs when doing ABA programs.
Right. So if you're doing a task analysis, usually people just list the steps that the learner is supposed to do. What you want to do is have the list of behaviors that they're supposed to do, but also in front of those, what's the relevant SD for the learner to respond to. So then your instruction becomes towards getting the learner to understand the relevant SD. And you brought up the issue of cues or prompts, which is really important, because sometimes people think, oh, I'm prompting the learner to do what they're supposed to do, and they do it, and they've learned the skill, but all they've learned is that they respond to what you're telling them to do. And that creates what's called learned helplessness, where the learner, especially a lot of children with autism, become very passive and they wait to be told what to do rather than them out responding to the natural SDs in the environment.
Yeah, that is incredible advice. And thank you so much for coming on here and really clarifying what an SD is. Keith, you have, like we said, 15 incredible books out. I know a few of them would be relevant to someone who is interested in this type of video, learning more about the definitions in ABA and about really the technicalities of ABA. So what are those books that people would be interested in? Where can they get them?
I just happen to have copies here of those books. So the first one is Systematic Instruction for Students and Adults with disabilities, and this really goes into depth in how you provide instruction that's going to work for students and adults. Second one is positive behavior supports for students in classrooms and schools, and it also goes into discriminative stimuli and what the learner needs to respond to. And the third book is positive behavior supports for adults with disabilities in employment, community, and residential settings. It also goes into some of the basic instruction.
Well, I'm going to have those books in the links in the comments below. So if you want to check those books out, just grab them from the comments. Thank you so much for everyone. Thank you, Keith, for being here. Thank you, everyone who watched this video. We're going to have more videos like this. We're going to be defining ABA terms, helping you really understand what ABA is and what it means and how to practically apply the definitions in a way that makes sense. So thank you so much for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you on another video, Keith, and also to having you, if you're watching the video, subscribe to the channel and keep watching.